second down.
Get up.
Next play is a touchdown.
Get up.
First down. So
Get up.
ball skills, the hands.
Get up.
Prove that. He says he's going to work.
Let's see what we got, buddy.
We'll see.
Well, Jalen Ramsey is gone from Florida State over across to the Atlantic to Jacksonville. There's another Jalen, Susie Colbert, who we thought until the bowl game injury happened, the severe one, would be going right around this point in the draft.
Where's your balance, buddy?
Well, you're right,
Where's
Bill.
your
I mean,
balance?
this is our opportunity to
You
tell
no
everybody
balance.
about the player that most believe was the best prospect in the entire draft. And that was until the catastrophic knee injury that he suffered in the Fiesta Bowl in January. Jalen Smith, the Butkus Award-winning linebacker from Notre Dame, tore 2 knee ligaments, but most damaging, he stretched the nerve that controls his ability to lift his foot and set it back down. But for all the gloom and doom reports you heard, an NFL team scared by the results of the medical rechecks in Indy 2 weeks ago, Smith's surgeon, Dr. Dan Cooper, insists that because the nerve was stretched and not severed, that it can regenerate. In fact, he told me he believes there's an 80% chance that Jalen can come all the way back. What's agonizing about this, though, is when it comes to nerves, there's no crystal ball. It's very unpredictable. So you have to have time and patience, something a lot of NFL teams don't have. I've been told about
Keep that balance.
can't risk it, but there are 10.
Just like you're on a football field.
Running,
Boom!
And Jalen is likely to go on the second
Come
day
on, buddy.
of
You
this
can do it. You
draft.
can do it.
Now,
Yeah!
believes that he
Come
will
on,
be
get
able to
up.
play in 2016.
Get up!
If he can play, not only is he a slam dunk talent, he is a slam dunk character. I asked him how he's been able, to remain with such a great attitude through all of this, and he looks at his foundation, his upbringing. He really sees the value of timing in everything. Let's go to Adam for more.
Well, thanks very much, Susie. 2 of the big questions in this draft are about 2 linebackers. Notre Dame linebacker Jalen Smith and UCLA linebacker Miles Jack, who's got a meniscus condition in his knee. One GM said, would love to take him, love the player, but if I took him, I'd stay up every night worrying about his knee until the end of his career. Now let's send it over to the commissioner, Roger Goodell.
I'm sorry. You want me to give you a
Baltimore
kiss?
Ravens are on the clock. The Ravens are a team that never drafts here. They're a team that's not
Get up.
expecting to
Come on.
draft in the
Come
top
on.
10 for
Move
quite
those
a
feet.
while. They were
Come on.
5-11
Keep
last
that
year
balance.
with injuries to
Come on,
so
buddy.
many of their
Tough it
youth
up.
players. Now they get a chance to get a difference maker.
Oh, cook your head. Come on, come on. Ooh.
With the 6th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Ronnie Stanley, tackle Notre Dame.
Oh, you went early. Wow, before Tunsil.
The position is certainly now for the Ravens.
That's why I wanted the Giants to
Not
get.
a surprise. Even though they could line up now and play offense, they need speed.
Stanley goes
defense.
6
Remember their top pick
over
Perriman, the wide receiver,
Tunsil.
didn't play at all last year, so they have that coming back. What's interesting for anyone following the draft is that not only it's a shock, but Stanley over Tunsil has the first tackle off the board. So I'll let you all weigh in on that.
Exactly. Laramie Tunsil's slide began. You think about when San Diego with 3 took Bosa over the offensive tackle. Now Baltimore takes Ronnie Stanley over
Let's
Laramie
see the
Tunsil.
Giants get Tunsil.
That tackle, but you get Ronnie Stanley, who is a gifted athlete.
Come on,
as
get up,
well.
get up.
He throwing 13 games at right tackle as a sophomore. He really became a fixture at left tackle.
What do you got, buddy? What do you got?
It's a kid, as I said, 6'5" and 3/4, nearly 6'6", 312 pounds. Does a real good job with the skilled outside pass rusher. Well, I want to see is more the lead streak. I looked at him this year. Did a great job against Shaq Lawson. Well, I tell you, there was some breakdowns here and there, a little lackadaisical at times. If he can turn up the intensity, get a little bit more aggressive, I think Ronnie Stanley could be a big-time left tackle in the NFL.
Hey, the number one criteria that I want in my left tackle is reliability.
Keep it going.
And Eugene Monroe was
Keep it going, keep it going.
He missed
Keep
15
that balance.
games the last 2 years. Was not the pass protector or the run blocker that they need. Stanley has the ability. He's got to prove that he can be something else than another starter in the league. He's got to prove he can be a dominant
left tackle like Jonathan Ogden was. He had too many penalties this year. I saw him miss a corner blitz against Pittsburgh. If this kid can really pick up his reliability, he's got a chance to walk in the shoes of a guy like Jonathan Ogden and give the Ravens desperate play at a critical position.
Yeah, not only reliability, coach availability. And I think that's the reason why now, although people are shocked, I think that's the reason why now you're seeing him being taken off the board ahead of Laramie Tunsil. It's not just about arm length. It's not just about feet. It's not just about physical measurables. Teams are considering a whole bunch of things when you're picking this high in the draft. This guy they consider to be the safer one.
Come on, what do you got? 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 What do you got? What do you got?
Terrell Suggs. That worked out pretty good. The Ravens, when they get early picks, have really done a home run, done a great job with it. Steve Stanley will turn out that way. Now, again, it's a mild upset at the moment. We'll see how far Laramie Tunsil goes. But Adam Schefter, here's another potential storyline here.
Well, boom, there was some chatter before the draft that Laramie Tunsil, the Mississippi offensive tackle, would slide in this draft, and that is what is happening right now. Keep in mind, there are some issues that followed Tunsil into this draft. Back in June, Tunsil was arrested on a domestic violence charge with his former stepfather, who also was arrested. He was suspended 7 games in 2015 for receiving improper benefits, and then 10 minutes before tonight's draft, on Laramie Tunsil's verified Twitter account, a picture surfaced of somebody smoking. Now, that picture quickly was deleted. The account was deleted. And right now, teams are wondering whether that was Laramie Tunsil or not. Susie Kober's down in the floor. She spoke to Laramie Tunsil's camp about it. Susie, what do you know?
I did speak to them just moments ago. I approached Tunsil first. He immediately directed me to his agent, Jimmy Sexton. He said, we've heard about what's going on. He said all the teams know about it. They believe that the account was hacked and that this may have been video that's quite old, going back to high school. But again, Sexton said all the teams know about it.
So, look, this is, if you're the head coach, that comes, you're thinking, how much does that affect you in the war room?
That affects me a lot. This whole thing makes me sick. This whole social media scene makes me sick. If you're a young kid out there, put away your Twitter accounts. All right, if you want to be a pro football player, somebody's going to hack your account. Somebody's going to cause some problems. You got to be a reliable person to stand up here on the stage and be a first-round draft choice. That's what's plagued this kid since he's been at Ole Miss. He's been injured, he's been suspended, and he's had a lot of traits that show you why you wouldn't want to draft them. So this is embarrassing. I'm sure it hurts him a lot. And if I'm a head coach with my GM, I'm going someplace else to find a player early in the first round.
Look, the draft is an exercise in risk management. That's what people are trying to determine right now. Is how risky are you? How much can we depend on you right now? And when this kind of stuff surfaces on a day like today, where tension's running high, you know, the thing of the franchise is in your hands as a team builder. Something like this comes to light. If you knew about it, hey, maybe you already factored it into your decision. If it caught you off guard, you think this can help you in any way? I mean, Coach just mentioned it. Look, this is something where, look, in the age of social media, and this isn't really just a social media issue, this is about a life choice issue. This is about, look, if that in any way, shape, or form is connected to you, what do you think is going to happen? If you're picking at the top of the draft, what we're talking about right now, teams cannot have that. It's about availability and reliability. Especially when you're talking about the Ravens on the offensive line, their guys have been hurt. They haven't been able to keep the right, you know, kind of formulation together as far as guys on the football field. They're trying to build for the future. They're trying to build this thing out from front to back. Offensive and defensive line, I guarantee you, that'll be where they go with this. If you can't keep yourself on the straight and narrow as far as your choices off the field, and you can't stay healthy, how can they pick you? I don't care how good you look. I don't care how sweet your feet are. They can't pick you.
What happens here, Lou, is you have a couple of players that are pretty equal, and we have issues, as you said already, with Laramie Tunsil, with durability concerns, not finishing the season, and suspension this year. This tips you away if you have players that are close to a Ronnie Stanley. So if your intent, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, was to take Laramie Tunsil, automatically you're going to audibilize to a guy who was right there in grade and take Ronnie Stanley. You got a kid coming up, Jack Conklin from Michigan State. No red flags with Jack Conklin. So are you going to be scared off again and take Conklin over Tunsil? It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out here.
Well, that's a storyline that certainly we will follow as we move along here. We are now on to pick 7. San Francisco is on the clock. The 49ers, after those years of success with Jim Harbaugh and 1 year with Jim Tomsula, as you know, Chip Kelly is the head coach. And now, moving over from Philadelphia, the Niners last year were 5-11. They have tied for the most picks in the draft. They have 12 picks, tied with Cleveland. They got 2 4s, 3 5s, 4 6s, and they have this number 7 overall pick in the first round. The Niners scored less than any other team last year. Other than Navarro Bowman coming back from knee injury and playing unbelievably, there wasn't a lot of moving up for the Niners. This is Chip Kelly, and that's a whole question in itself. Can he reinvent himself and learn from what didn't work in Philadelphia? This was quite a bit of it. Self-evaluation coach and evaluation draft. That'll be the key for the Niners moving forward. Here it is.
With the 7th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select DeForest Buckner, defensive end, Oregon.
Good pick.
Well now, last year they picked Eric Armstead, the angular one from Oregon. So 2 teammates. I tell you what, if they want to start a basketball team, they've got a heck of a start on the defensive front, don't they, Mel?
A 6'7", 291 pounds, DeForest Buckner has boom, long arms, huge hands. I think the improvement as a pass rusher this past year. 4 sacks 2 years ago, 10.5 this past season. Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. When you watch a guy like DeForest Buckner, the inside pressure, the ability to be a good run defender. I don't think he is that big outside threat that a lot of teams want, but he's a developing player, highly competitive. His best football is still to come. Plays a little high, needs to work on leverage, work on that proper pad level. If he does that, Lou and John, I think you have yourself a really good defensive line who can really disrupt throwing lanes, back down passes.
Look, this is a Trent Baalke type of pick. He knows that he needs to get back to what made San Francisco relevant when Coach Harbaugh was there, and that is taking care of the offensive and defensive lines. And look, when you look at a guy like DeForest Buckner, who really is scheme versatile. This is a guy who can survive in a 4-3. He can play in a 3-4. He can rush on 3rd down. That's your 3 technique or your 1 technique. And more importantly, he's a guy who's going to help them in the run game. Look, San Francisco last year gave up.
He pulled his legs, buddy.
The most rush yards allowed on the defense in a season since 1980. That's just something you can't have. This guy will address that need. And when you pair him with guys like Eric Armstead, look, they'll work their way back to relevance, and the only way to do that is to do it by starting up front.
John, he looks pretty good coming off the bus, doesn't he?
No doubt about it. I just worry about him being a 3-down player. When I watch him play, last year in the bowl game against TCU, they have a 28-point lead in the 4th quarter. All you need is 1 sack, and he can't get off the ball and get it done. And at the point of attack, I have seen Buckner give up some real estate at the point of attack. And he's got to get his pad level addressed. Here he is against Jack Conklin of Michigan State. He has work to do, certainly a 6'8" man playing football at the point of attack with his pad level. He's got to prove he can rush the passer and be a 3-down player, especially in the 4th quarter when games are decided. I have my questions about Buckner going this high, but my friend Chip Kelly loves those Oregon Ducks. Here's another one.
We're getting details on a trade that's happened back here. So the 2 teams that have moved, Tennessee and Cleveland, the 2 teams that moved out 1-2 to go down, Tennessee to 15 and Cleveland to 8, who was on the clock. Now they've made a trade, so certainly Cleveland will have the most picks in the draft. We don't know if they'll ever pick, but they keep moving backwards. Tennessee's got to be for the tackle, right?
Got to be left tackle.
For the safe tackle.
This is again, Jeremy Tunsil, Jack Conklin, got 2 left tackles. We said Tennessee, when they moved down to 15, had to move back in to get a left tackle. You had the worst offensive line protecting the quarterback. You got Marcus Mariota coming off an injury. Got Jack Conklin.
Going for Tunsil. They wanted Tunsil.
Larry Tunsil was number 1 on my board. Now here he is available at pick number 8. Last year, Leonard Williams, defensive end USC, was number 1 on my board. He went number 6 to the New York Jets. He had an outstanding rookie year. We'll see what happens. If in fact they take Tunsil, or they audibilize like maybe the Ravens did, and take a guy like Jack Conklin.